I strongly believe, and it's not arrogance, it's not some type of mystic or fantasy world, that I won't lose again with the 1DT trade for the remainder of the year. Is it possible? Yeah, I'm not an idiot, or most of the time I'm not an idiot. I know it's possible, but I have such a strong conviction of if I follow the rules, I'm going to be able to win on the trade. And this is where you have your edge that you can have into perpetuity. If you learn to adjust at a high level, you're going to be able to overcome almost anything the market throws at you with this 1DT trade, even if you wake up the next morning and it's in the money. And the reason I want to talk about the 1DT strategy is because it can be better than the day trade. It can be better than the 0DT trade for a lot of us, if not most of us. It has 50% less gamma risk because it does give you a day, an extra day. You do have that overnight risk, but that overnight risk gives you that extra premium. And if you follow it the way we teach in the course, and that's the time you put it on and the time you get out of it, should be total 45 market minutes. That's even overnight, right? Obviously, you have to disregard the overnight. That's why I'm saying market minutes. If you do that, you're going to have a super high win rate. You're not going to always be able to get out with at least a break even within the first 30 minutes of the market open, but super majority of the time you will. Or the time you're not able to, then that's when your discipline comes in, or your discipline is even more important. And so, for example, if I can't get out of a 1DT trade within the first 30 minutes of the market open, then I'm going for tops 35%. I'm not going for that 50 or 70% that I originally wanted. Because the longer you're in the trade, the more risk. It's like the whole adage that, the more you drive, the more you do something, whatever's negative about that something, it's going to eventually happen. Right? If you drive every single day and you've never been in a car accident or any type of fender bender, you're going to eventually get into one. It's just the law of large numbers. If you're doing a 1DT trade almost every day, we don't do it every day because of economic news, but if you're doing it almost every day, you're going to run into a situation where you're in the money the next morning before you even have a chance to touch the trade. It's rare that that's the case. It's happened maybe 3 times of trading this 1DT trade for the last 3 to 4 years. And 2 of those times were this year. Right? That's why I was saying earlier that this year is kind of acceleration of the learning process. If you've been trading since January 1st, you stuck with it. You learned a lot about these markets over the last 9 months. Because it's more risk, the longer you stay in the trade, I have this arbitrary rule that I came up with that I'm going to get out of it within once I hit 35% or no more than 35%. A lot of times I'm getting out just when I get a profit so that I don't have to deal with any additional risk. And the market tells me if that's the case. So if I adjust and the market is making me adjust again, then that's already telling me that, okay, today is going to be challenging. Don't try to play hero ball. Go for just break even because the super majority of the time you're going to be able to get out of the trade within the first 30 minutes with a nice profit. A lot of times, as Swati can testify, you're getting out with 50, 60, 70% at the bell right when the market opens. You're done with the trade. So if you can learn to navigate the small percentage of the time that's going to be challenging, this 1DT trade can be powerful. I've talked about not losing again for the remainder of the year, and that was about 3 months ago, if not 4 months ago. And we have 4 more months to go if you count this September. I strongly believe, and it's not arrogance, it's not some type of mystic or fantasy world, that I won't lose again with the 1DT trade for the remainder of the year. Is it possible? Yeah, I'm not an idiot, or most of the time I'm not an idiot. I know it's possible, but I have such a strong conviction of if I follow the rules, I'm going to be able to win on the trade. And the rules are how we set it up. Before we continue with the video, I just want to quickly point out, if you need any additional help, please consider joining our trading club. You can do that by clicking on the link in the description area, and you'll get a 3-month trial for a flat fee of $60. We look forward to seeing you in the trading club. Back to the video. We talk about the 4 steps, the 4 processes of the 1DT strategy. The first step is putting it on. understanding how to put it on, because that's where you can control everything. You can control every aspect of the trade when you're putting it on. So why don't you give yourself an edge then? Why don't you give yourself a high probability of winning by the way you put it on? And then the second, number two, is understanding how to read the trade. Understand what's going on with the trade. So you can determine, should I sit on my hands or should I do some type of defensive adjustment, some type of proactive adjustment? Should I ring the register with a very, very small profit or break even? Should I even take a small loss? That's all reading the trade. If you decide when you read the trade to go to step three, and that's adjusting, this is where you have your edge that you can have into perpetuity. If you learn to adjust at a high level, you're going to be able to overcome almost anything the market throws at you with this 1DT trade. Even if you wake up the next morning and it's in the money, you've put it on almost two standard deviations or more than two standard deviations, and the market has moved so much that you're already in the money. You should have already practiced what to do at that point. You should already know what to do. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. And if it's a surprise to you, you haven't practiced enough, right? It's like being on a football team and your coach didn't prepare you for the 2 minute drill. And if you're not familiar with sports, it's 2 minutes left in the game. You're down, but you can still win. But if you didn't prepare for that, you're going to fail. If you go try, and some of you heard me say this analogy before, if you haven't prepared to run a marathon and you go try to run it, you're going to darn near kill yourself, if not kill yourself. You have to prepare. The old Lion King, be prepared. Yeah, I was watching a lot of kid movies, cartoons, and all that kind of stuff recently. But you have to be prepared. So I've already seen almost every movie what the market can do to me because I've tried to think of crazy stuff that the market can do. And so if I wake up tomorrow and it's in the money, I already know what I'm going to do. You should know that as well. So it's not a surprise to you. You're not going to be happy about it, but it shouldn't be, okay, let me throw up my hands and take this loss, or let me, wish and pray that it turns around. Right? That's not a strategy. Right?
Hey,
Wishing
Brian.
and praying is not a strategy. The last thing after mastering the third strategy that of adjusting, you have to master the fourth part of putting on it or trading this 1DT strategy, and that's taking it off. It's some nuances of taking it off. And if you don't get it correctly, you can have a point where you can break even or get out of the trade with a very small loss, and you miss it because you don't understand how to take it off. And because that 1DT trade becomes a 0DT trade, that's where you have zero bid type of concepts that could be on one of the sides, usually on the non-tested side, and it will keep you from getting out of your trade. And you'll be sitting there wondering why is I'm not getting filled, and then that chance of or that window of being able to win or break even or have a small loss will be gone, and you won't have it again for the rest of that trading session, and you wind up potentially with a decent loss. So follow the processes, you guys. This is a strategy, you guys, that could work, and it can make you can have just as high win or dollar amount and percentage as the 0DT trade. But you do have that overnight risk, but that overnight risk or that weekend risk or whatever kind of day period you're going to do this 1DT trade, that's the edge though, right? That's giving you your little that's another edge, I should say. It's giving you a little bit of an edge because fear is in the pricing most of the time. Fear is in that pricing. And most of the time fear is overstated, right? 68% of the time at least, fear is overstated. So if you are far away, even though it's not overstated, it might be you still so far away that it's still overstated for your position, for your trade. So it's got to be big moves to hurt you. This trade can be good. I know it's worked really well for you, Swati. What I would encourage you guys, if you're going to do the trade after you've learned the course and you've practiced and you started off small, is that you work on your weaknesses. You know what your weakness is. It could be adjusting. It could be the discipline of always trying to get more after you adjust it. It could be a number of different things, but you know that that's what you need to work on. Because if you start to master your weaknesses, that they don't derail you, yeah, you're going to lose sometime, but I'm talking about put you out of business. Then you're going to have the confidence in yourself to really kind of scale up then and make a ton of money doing this, and it be not only a supplemental, kind of income for you, but something even more meaningful, like a full-time type of income. These markets are right to take money out of it, you guys. You've seen some of the other members do it. You've seen me do it. You've seen Dr. Meadows do it. It's money to be taken out of these markets on a regular basis. It's there for the taking. You just have to prepare yourself to take it.